Mac and gaming are two words that you usually don't see together, but is perhaps this base model M1 Mac Mini an overlooked gaming beast? I decided to start off testing some native macOS games, and to my surprise, quite a few games of my Steam library have macOS versions. Even Metro Exodus, one of my all-time favorite games, it's usually quite well optimized for all sorts of hardware, from my experience. It's not a native ARM game like pretty much all other macOS games currently. It's running through the honestly fantastic Rosetta 2 translation layer, and performance is way better than expected. This is macOS, so unfortunately I can't easily benchmark games for average FPS or 1% lows, but thankfully Steam has a built-in FPS overlay that you can see in the left bottom of the screen. With medium settings at 1080p, it stayed in the 30 FPS range for most of the time in the Vladivostok level. Indoors it could even go up to the 50s. Expect a bit better performance in the Moscow or Volga level. The Vladivostok level is one of the heaviest in the game. Having originally played the game on the Xbox One platform, this felt very playable, input lag was minimal, my Xbox Series controller worked flawlessly, and mouse and keyboard felt also fine. Bit more on controller support later. Shadow of the Tomb Raider also has a native macOS version. It performed quite similar to Metro. It even has a benchmark, in which it averaged 32 FPS with the low preset. Not the best performance, but it is definitely playable. Another game that is among my favorites is Black Ops 3. Unfortunately, the experience was quite mixed this time around. First off, multiplayer/online gameplay is straight up broken for quite a while, with absolutely no fix in sight despite being a known issue. Secondly, custom zombies is one of the main selling points of the game, and it's also just straight up broken on the Mac. Just scrolling through the map selector, the game just crashes as soon as a custom map pops up. With that out of the way, the game actually played okay. I tested it in its iconic zombies mode, and it stayed in the low 50s for the most part, but depending on the zombie count and area of the map it could drop to the low 40s, although it also surpassed the 60 FPS mark occasionally. I used 90% of 1080p and medium settings. Controller support is also, unfortunately, one of the things that just doesn't work in this game. Even the mouse felt quite bad. Not really sure how to describe it, but it felt like I was dragging it through the Origins mud. I'm quite new to Civ, so I decided to test the Gathering Storm graphics and AI benchmark. It achieved an average frame time of 25 milliseconds, roughly 40 FPS, and a turn time of 136 seconds with the low preset. Fallout 4 running through Crossover, which lets you play Windows games with quite mixed results. Link in the description to the Mac Gaming Wiki with a list of playable titles. Performed quite well. Regrettably, I couldn't get an FPS overlay working, but it definitely felt like it was hitting its standard 60 FPS frame cap quite often. The Xbox Series controller worked flawlessly in this case. My only gripe would be that the head bobbing felt kinda broken. It felt laggy while the rest of the game felt smooth. It's quite weird. Keep in mind, Crossover is also a paid application, starting at €6 or dollars per year. Cloud gaming and emulation is where M1 Macs truly shine. Let's start with cloud gaming. Both Xbox Cloud Gaming and GeForce Now performed great for me. The visuals and input lag reached a point where I can even forget that I'm not playing the games natively, rather stream them over the internet. It obviously depends on your internet connection and distance to the server, what an experience you will get. I get roughly 200 down and 40 up, live in the middle of nowhere in Baden-Württemberg, Germany, and played over Wi-Fi this time around, and it was great, how I said. Currently, only controllers work with Xbox Cloud Gaming, and vibrations unfortunately don't work with the browser version. Most games are the Xbox Series X versions, streamed at 1080-60 on PCs/Macs over the browser, so on desktop devices. This is also the only way to play Forza and Halo, for example. Fallout 76 felt so much better than what I remember back when it launched on the Xbox One X. It's great. The visuals are a bit worse, but the input lag, especially because it's running at 60 FPS compared to the 30 on the Xbox One, it really felt way more playable. Even the free tier of GeForce Now performed just fine. Streaming is the only way to play Destiny on the Mac, and I honestly wouldn't have a problem playing like this as my main way of playing Destiny. Mouse input lag was minimal, it felt very smooth. Now to emulation. IFA SX2, a native ARM PS2 emulator, was my go-to choice on this device to play some of my favorite childhood games like LEGO Indiana Jones, the original, and GTA Vice City Stories. Both performed at 2x resolution at a pretty much capped 60. I couldn't get the cursor to disappear unfortunately, so please excuse its a bit annoying appearance. So what have we learned today? Gaming on a M1 equipped Mac Mini and M1 Macs in general is possible. I would personally go down the cloud gaming route with its honestly astonishing experience. It amazes me how you can stream a game while having basically a native experience. Can't wait to see how it will be in a couple years from now with this tech. GeForce Now even supports 120 FPS streaming since recently. Native gaming is on the other hand possible but quite mixed with the experience. Emulation is fantastic, PS2 is great, Xbox apparently too, and RPC3/PS3 emulation also recently arrived on ARM Macs. Xenia/Xbox 360 emulation would be a wish of mine for the future for the Apple Silicon devices. If you already have a Mac with Apple Silicon and are interested in gaming, try it out. Most services have free trials or return policies. It may surprise you how great the experience can be. Buying a M1 Mac only for gaming is obviously not the move, but if you want or need a Mac for work, for example, and play games occasionally on the side, it is definitely possible for a great experience to be had. The future is quite uncertain for gaming on the Mac. Metal 3 is coming, and it will hopefully bring it up to par with DirectX 12 and Vulkan. DirectX 12 games are currently pretty much unplayable through programs like Crossover, and it will hopefully allow for them to be playable in the future. Besides a few deals for games like Resident Evil Village and No Man's Skies, developer support is also seemingly not getting any better. Apple is more focused on the mobile market, where seemingly all the cash money lies. Linus and Snazzy Labs have both made videos on this topic. If you're interested, I have them linked in the description, they're quite interesting. I thank you for watching, I wish you well, and goodbye.